Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another round of the FEG PC Truck Series. Today, we're at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway doing something a little bit different where we're going to have two heat races to decide who the 42 drivers are tonight, as already they are gridding up here for heat race number one. Let's take a look at the lineup. We've got Tyler Millett, number 27, starting on pole. Ryan Travers starting second. Martin starting third, Core starting fourth, Hawkins starting fifth, Cantora starting sixth, Klinghardt starting seventh, and the number 42, Michael J. Johnson starting eighth, Donald Ray starting ninth, Joe Burgess starting 10th, Brad Bothwell starting 11th, John Ouellette starting 12th. We've got Samard starting 13th, Christopher Carter starting 14th, Chad Ross will be starting, actually I got lost there, 15th on the grid. Brandon Barber starting 16th. We've got Josh Holmes starting 17th. Adam Schoen starting 18th. Matthew Curry starting 19th. Jay Dargett, the fan favorite, the number 57, starting 20th. Michael Newbra on the the number 6, starting 21st. Jared Forbes in 73 starting 22nd. Brad Kirby starting 23rd. Derek Fulton starting 24th. And we're going to round out our 25-car grid in Heat 1 with Brandon Ward starting in the 5th place spot here today. So again, things are a little bit different tonight. We've got two heat races to decide who's going to make it into the main event here tonight for the big points and the big prizes. We're going to only take 21 drivers from both heat races, a 15-lap heat race, to decide who makes the main event. We've got Kerry Moore in the grandstands cheering everybody on. Mike Kinzel cheering everybody on as well. We've got Ben Cook, Chris Burton, they're both cheering for Tyler Millett. As we send our drivers out to do battle. I believe we have close to 60 entries here today for the FEG PC Segment 3 truck round at Talladega Super Speedway. Going to be interesting to see what the strategy is for these guys to get into the heat race. I would imagine a lot of the guys are going to be playing it safe, maybe count on a big one to come out and take out some good drivers that will be unable to make it to the main event. Tyler Millett starts off strong. And we're going to get this party started here at Talladega. It's Millett, Coors, and Cantora running 1, 2, 3. And already they're going to be breaking down into two lines to see who's going to be able to make it through. Now Cantora is going to take the outside line, see if he can make a move with the accompaniment of the number 39 machine to try and pick up the spot and slot down in front of your leaders. But these guys got to be very, very careful, not wanting to make any mistakes or possibly risk those trucks I should say. But Millett on the inside line gets a great launch. He's got Jeremy Coors right in tow in the number 97 machine. We've also got Country Chick joining us today. She's also cheering on Tyler Millett in the 27 Ford F-150. Now, these guys are both battling to get into the main event as well as a better grid spot for the night. Running that inside line and staying pretty dominant. Kevin Webb also tuning in tonight, cheering on Tyler Millett. And while we're talking about people cheering folks on, thank you so much to our fans, friends, family, and sponsors that tune in every week to support their favorite driver, their favorite league, and possibly their favorite broadcaster. I can almost guarantee you these racers go back through after each race. They go back, they can see the live chat, and they see who's been cheering on all night. So thank you all so much to you guys at home for tuning in and supporting a great thing we got going on every Monday night. Cantoris gets a bit of a drive on the outside line with the accompaniment of Michael J. Johnson and number 39, Tundra, doing their best to get that outside line formed as Millette and Cantoris go side by side coming out of turn 4. Again, this is the first heat race of 2. Cantoris and Johnson briefly worked their way around Tyler Millette. But Millette is going to stay glued to that inside line with Jeremy Kors giving him a push to the front. We're going to cycle a little bit further back in the field. Again, we're only taking the top 21. Right now it's Derek Fulton on the bubble and the number 43 Toyota Tundra. Right behind him, he's got Michael Newbrough doing his best to propel the number 6 machine up into qualifying position as they go side by side for that final transfer spot. Going to be very interesting to see who's going to make the cut, and they're crashing up front. Oh, an absolute yard sale. So many drivers getting cleaned out here. That will bring out the first caution, but we're going to lose a lot of fast guys in that initial incident. As let's take a look at our FEG PC replay here, see what just happened. You're watching Adam Schoen in the number 65 machine. See if we can get a tighter angle here. They're already crashing ahead of Schoen. I think we know who we need to watch. Jay Jargert, the number 57 machine, appeared to be involved in that one. So Dargert gets into the 38 of Chad Ross. The number 75 machine may have been the initial driver crash there. That will be Larry Cantoris. And that's going to collect a whole lot of drivers early on. Let's back that camera angle up. We're trying to see what happened to Cantoris and the number 75 machine that caused this party to kick off initially. And it looks like they're all just going 3 wide, coming down to the start-finish line. And then it is going to be tragedy here at Talladega as the big one comes out early in the first heat. Number 67 machine, Martin gets hooked as well. And look at the air time that Cantoris gets. Number 75 machine unfortunately bounces right in front of Ross. Ross may be able to squeeze through here. Dargert not able to get slowed down in time. And then we are going to absolutely collect some trucks early on here today. Hopefully that's not going to be indicative of how the night will go, as that was an absolutely massive crash. So again, that will be our very first caution of the night here in Heat 1. 10 laps left to go. As the running order on the left side of your screen hasn't changed a whole lot with the top 5, but we've got a whole lot of drivers down pit road. Carter, Samard, Curry, Ward, Dargert, Fulton, Cantoris, Martin, Schoen. Now these guys do have one fast repair here tonight. So if they're able to limp it back to pit road, get that repair done and stay on the lead lap, they're still in a good position to possibly make it into the main event here. But just like that, several drivers are going to see their chances of making the main event dashed early here tonight. This is Heat 1. We've got another heat immediately following with another cutoff of 21 drivers before we go to the main event here tonight. It's going to be 75 laps around the super speedway at Talladega. And Tracy Rogers joining us tonight, cheering on Chris Carter. Yes, Carter currently running 18th in the number 28 machine, involved in an early incident. He's going to get back out on track, and he is still comfortably within the bubble of qualifying. We've got 3 drivers with extended pit times: Cantoris, Martin, and Schoen. We've got Craig, Hawkins, and Bothwell out. So Carter should be able to comfortably bring it home in a qualifying spot, barring any more incidents that could collect these drivers. Again, they've got 1 fast repair, 1 get-out-of-jail-free card, if you will. If you're not a iRacing fan yet, but just now starting to become one, cheering on some of your favorite friends and family for the first time, what that basically means is if you're involved in an incident, if you can get back to pit lane either through driving or taking a tow through iRacing, it will basically reset your car back to brand new conditions and you can go back out. But you only get 1 of those repairs here for the FEG PC Truck Series. And if you find yourself off with a wadded up race car once more, that is it. You've got to repair it the old-fashioned way. Duct tape and Flex Seal. Neither one of those companies are official sponsors for the FEG PC Truck Series, but we're working on it. We're sending out emails. It will be 7 laps to go as our drivers come to the restart line. The iRacing pace car will dive in. And let's see if they can make it through the remaining half of the race without any big incidents. I would bet probably not. I am personally expecting at least 1 more massive pile up here in Heat 1. Once again, it'll be Millett on the inside line, Coors on the outside line. Here we go. The pace car dives in. And here we go for possibly the final restart of the night. It's still Millett on the inside line. He's got the accompaniment of Michael J. Johnson, number 39 Toyota. We know Johnson is good at pushing his friends forward up to the front. On the outside line, you've got Jeremy Coors. He's getting pushed by Jacob Klinghardt. Klinghardt, the number 42 Chevrolet. As we've got 2 packs of lead drivers now, the inside line starting to get a little bit more support here. Darger, the number 57, also gaining big spots in the number 57 as well. He's on the outside line behind Klinghardt in the number 42 machine. Coors drops down to the inside line in front of Millett's black and green, number 27. Going to be intriguing to see if Klinghardt, the number 42, can get any support from Dagert, push his way up to the front, and maybe drop back in. We've got Roger Hale joining us tonight as well. Great seeing Roger. 6 laps left to go in the opening heat race of tonight. We're taking the top 21 drivers to the main event. Right now, your race leader, Jeremy Moore, is Klinghardt going back and forth with Millett for second. Klinghardt doing his best to get some momentum going on that outside line. Again, he is supported by Jay Darger, their 57 machine. The field is going to get nice and tight here. But who's going to play it safe? Because we know only 21 drivers going to make it to the main event. Right now on the bubble is Adam Schoen, who has rejoined the racetrack several laps down, but doing his best to get that transfer spot. And he still has a good opportunity if these guys up front run out of talent and wad up their cars. You may see some surprise entries in the main event. Now is Klinghardt going to get a nose up to the front. The inside line led by Kors still has the momentum. Darger doing his best as he possibly can to push number 42 Klinghardt up to the front. Klinghardt may technically have it at the line here. Yes, he will get a lap led. Darger peeks his nose out, tries to drop down low behind Klinghardt. And now as Dargert's turn on the front row, or the outside line, the front row of that, he's getting pushed by the number 62 machine of John Ouellette. Darger not quite able to get to the inside line that he wanted to. He's got to wait a little bit longer. 4 laps left to go. Please do not wad up your machinery here today. As I'm fairly sure there's not green-white checker attempts in a heat race. It'll be 3 to go as they cross the line. Right now, your race leader, Jacob Klinghardt, number 42 machine, on the inside line. Let's see if Darger can get the momentum in the number 57 machine to make a final last-ditch pass for the lead. Not going to want to do so too early, because then he can expect the outside line to do the same to him. Darger shows as your race leader down the backstretch, but he's a wily old veteran here at the FEG PC Truck Series. Not going to show his cars too early. And let's see who it's going to be at the line. It looks like it may be Klinghardt. Darger's just barely ahead as they go out of turn 4 through the tri-oval. Darger will get a lap led here at Talladega. Still doing his best to hold up that outside line to keep their momentum a little bit down. And we're going to go 3 wide at Talladega. That's Johnson in the middle of the number 27, Tyler Mollett. They've got to be careful here. Any wrong move can take out the entirety of the field as Jay Dargert's going to be out front with Ouellette right behind him. We're 3 wide and several rows deep. Keep an eye out on Klinghardt in the inside line, number 42. He's been passed all night long. This is a game of drafting and you can trust out here. We're going to go 3 wide once more in the tri-oval. Now this track opens up to about 4 lanes and then whittles back down to 3. Ouellette will take the white flag in the lead. He's on the outside line. Dargert in the middle. This is about to get dicey as they start crashing behind him, but the white flag is already out. We're going to keep this train going. Right now it's Ouellette, Klinghardt, Johnson, Kors, Darger making up your top 5. Darger's going to give a push to Johnson, but no, he goes wide. John Ouellette in the 62 machine, your current race leader. He's linked up with Klinghardt and I believe Kors as well. No, that is Mollett on the inside line. We've lost a fair amount of drivers involved in that incident. But let's see, are they going to crash the line? Yes, they are. Everybody bends it. Dargert goes completely flying. Who's going to cross the line in qualifying? Johnson, Klinghardt, and Carter bring home the win. But who's going to get 21st? Right now it shows as Adam Schoen will get the transfer spot after several drivers have absolutely yard sailed it across the circuit. What a finish, my friend. So Adam Schoen, number 65, Ford F-150, will get the transfer spot. As we're going to watch that one once more because that was absolutely spectacular. Watch darker on the right side of your screen in the Marines, bright red, number 57. Minding his own business, just gets drilled by Millette after Millette took heavy damage. And then like a top, he's going to go airborne, pulling the old-fashioned helicopter. And then he will do his best to pull in the clutch and limp it across the line for that qualifying spot. But man, what a finish here, ladies and gentlemen. So Johnson will pick up the win and burn it down in style. So it'll be Johnson, Klinghardt, and Carter, your top three for heat number 1. But let's go ahead and take a look at the grid for heat number 2 as we get our drivers out on circuit. Is James Kaufman starting on pole number 25 machine. Buddy Pitts starting second in the 26. Parks in the 7 starting third. 3 wide, Lothar in the number 47. Our fast Canadian friend starting fourth. Thomas Geyer starting 5th in the number 20. Roger Hale in the 16 starting 6th. Brad Herman in the number 85 starting 7th. Matt Lee in the 04 machine starting 8th. Joe Winniesdorfer starting 9th in the number 23. Austin Hawkins in the 29 starting 10th. Anthony Reiner starting 11th in the 81. Austin Reedy in the 11 machine will be starting 12th. Cycle it back, we've got Tyler the Weapon Evans, number 15 machine, starting 13th. John Mullahan in number 35 starting 14th. Mike Pachinka starting 15th in the 55. Cale Seaman the 17 starting 16th. Tristan Bailey in number 24 starting 17th. Stephen Page in the number 1 starting 18th. Reed in the 58 starting 19th. McCauley starting 20th in the 62. Roach in number 31 starting 21st. McCullough starting 22nd. We've got Mike Kinzel starting 23rd. We've got Jeffrey Radke starting 24th. And that will round out our grid here for heat number 2. Again, only the top 21 drivers will make it to the main event. I believe Reiner, Roach, and Hawkins are all going to be DNSs here in heat number 2. So in theory, everyone should be able to transfer. Let's see what happens for heat number 2. Now, these guys have got to be breathing easy knowing that they will be able to make it to the main event here since we had a few did not start, no grids. But it's Kaufman and Pitts on the front row, Parks, Lothar your second row, and then Geyer and Hale on the third row. Away we go. Parks with an excellent launch on the outside line, but he's going to have no draft support for a while. As Pitts and Lothar are going to sneak up the inside line. You've also got Matt Lee in the 04 machine. Now, even though this is not for a transfer spot, or they don't have to worry about transfer spot, these guys are still going to come out strong and try and get the best grid position they possibly can for the main event. Line number 47 machine thought better of it, And going to stay in a Congo line behind Parks and Kaufman. Only 14 laps remaining in this opening hit. Matt Lee has switched to the high side with Brad Herman in the number 85. To try and gain some spots. Lothar got punched off to the inside. He's going to have to rejoin as safely as he can. Waiting for the field to get back out. He's going to be behind KLC number 17 machine. As now Matt Lee, your new race leader, will take the shot down the inside groove, as well as Brad Herman, number 85 machine, slotting in just ahead of Kaufman, number 25 machine. Kaufman moves to the middle of the groove. He's beaten more time and time and again. As we have two drivers come down pit road, I believe it's going to be Reed and Evans. Still out front, clicking it off, trying to get through this without any big incidents. But that outside line is humming. That's Buddy Pitts, number 26. Coming up fast, trying to work his way around Lee's 04 Toyota Tundra. Pitts in the Chevrolet. Looks like he may have a drive here. Let's not see if he has enough to drop down. He does. He over hits the mark. Pulls back in front of Lee. Overcorrects the move, goes down the apron. Narrowly avoids hitting Lee, or maybe Lee narrowly avoids hitting Pitts as he came back into the racing line. And Lee says, no sir, I'm not going to follow you around after that. I'm going back up to the front. Lee gets in front of Austin Reedy in the number 11 machine. And look at the run they have on the outside line. Now both Lee and Reedy, oh, they touch. They're going to have a big incident here. Several drivers collected in that when the caution comes out. It's Paige Kaufman showing involved in the incident. Let's see who else may be involved in this party. Oh, that's a shot right there, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's back that camera angle up a little bit and see where it all went wrong for the number 85 machine. So watch the number 26, I believe it is, on the inside line. That is Buddy Pitts. The number 35 starts coming down track, doesn't realize there is a truck currently occupying that position. Putts, button hooks number 35 of John Mullahan. And Mullahan gets a bounce to the outside wall. He's going to get involved and get into the side of Brad Herman, who's going to wall ride around here. The number 1 of Stephen Page also involved. The number of 25 of Kaufman hits Page. What a crash. Lothar able to get through. And now your running order is going to be Lee, Reedy, Pitts, Parks, and Seaman, the top 5. So I was a little optimistic. I thought we could get through Heat 2 with no caution since everybody is in a transfer position, but race drivers are going to do what race drivers do, and that is lick the stamp and send it. Doesn't matter where you're at on track, all these guys trying to pick up some more spots as we see Park, Seaman, and Geyer come down pit road. So again, everybody is in a transfer position, but now we've only got 15 drivers on the lead lap as McCullough, Reed, Evans, Kaufman, Herman all going to go a lap down here in Heat 2 at Talladega. Luckily, these drivers do have that one fast repair in their back pocket to get back out on track and try and gain some more positions to better themselves for the 75 lap feature event. As we're going to get them gridded back up, we're going to wait for the pace car to cross the line. They'll be stacking them up double file. We're going to get them gridded back up. It'll be 7 laps to go as they cross the line. That is almost identical to what we did in heat race number 1. And then we're going to roll straight into the main event here today. 75 laps around Talladega. Now these guys are competing for the end of season prize. Now, to give you an idea of what these guys are racing for, if we have 80 drivers sign up for a segment, that puts the grand prize at $1,000 to the winner, $250 for second, $250 for third, and $250 will be awarded for a random driver for the FEG PC Truck Series. Got our friends Kirby Esports. They're tuned in, cheering on the top esports and Peaches GC guys, Brad Kirby in the 10 and Brandon Ward in the 88. I believe both of those drivers were in Heat 1 tonight at Talladega, but hope to see them do well in the main event. It's going to be Reedy and Lee on the front row, Hale and Winniesdorfer in the second row, and then Bailey and McCauley in the third row. Now, talking about Lee and McCauley, both of those drivers have some wins here for segment 3, as well as the likes of Ouellette and Johnson. But it is McCauley and Lee that have 2 wins each. The most winningest drivers so far in segment 3. Well, that's the fun part about plate racing at super speedways. It's anybody's game at the end of the day. The pace car comes in, we get ready to send them back out. Lee gets a good start, hops down to the inside line ahead of Reedy. It's going to be Lee, Reedy, Wittesdorfer, Bailey, and Hale. Your top 5 here early on in the restart. That outside line just doesn't quite have enough momentum with Hale and the number 16 machine. He's getting a big hearty push from McCauley in the 62 machine, but with only 2 drivers, how hard can they push? As the inside line led by Lee, you've got Austin Reedy. You've got the number 23 machine of Wittesdorfer. Trying to stack up, punch through that air here. Six laps left to go here for heat number 2. 21 drivers making the cut, gonna be able to make it to the main event. And look at that outside line really getting formed up. McCauley leading the charge, trying to get his way up there to Matt Lee. Now all these guys will qualify for the main event, but this is going to be a better starting position depending on where they finish up in the heat race. And there's a lot of big names we've been used to. Oh, look at the violence unfold before your eyes. That was Eric Parks careening across the track. That'll bring out the caution. But that was a hard hit that Parks took. We're going to back that angle up, see what transpired between Parks, the number 24 machine. Not sure if the red truck got into the back of Parks. Just ever so slightly, the number 58 machine tagged that door panel. That was Tyler Reed. And then the number 24, Tristan Bailey, an innocent bystander. He's going to go for a wild ride here. And that will bring out the second caution of heat number 2. Now our first heat race, where we actually had guys on the line for not being able to make it to the big event, they only had one caution. You get the guys out here that know they're going to have a transfer spot, that are a little bit more willing to send it, and that's what brings out the second caution. So I'm not sure how many laps we're going to have left to go once we get formed back up. I can't imagine it's going to be many. We're going to try and get them formed up behind your race leader, Lee. So it's going to be Lee, Reedy, your front row, McCauley and Wittesdorfer, your second row, and then Seaman and Kinzel, your third row. Again, after these 4 laps, we're going to go straight into the main event here today. Not sure if we're going to have a short warm-up or not. Sometimes iRacing makes you do a warm-up. Sometimes it does not. As I believe it'll be 2 to go as they cross the line. We've got one driver getting the lucky dog. I believe that may be Herman. It is Herman in the 85 machine. He'll get waved around to catch up to the field and find himself on the lead lap once more. Or am I mistaken? Is it going to be a one-lap shootout here for the finale? We got Gerald Darger tuning in, the fan favorite who races the number 57 machine here at the FEG PC Truck Series. Always great seeing my good friend Jay on or off the track. Just an all-around awesome guy. Very glad to see him make it into the main event here today. And what I think is going to be 75 laps, about surviving till the end. Chris Carter, the number 25 machine, he's going to put up $5 to the winner, he says. And we went ahead and put a poll up for our viewers. Let us know, do you think that we're going to have over or under 6 cautions in the 75-lap feature event? Clean Card got second in his heat. He's pumped and happy. Don't believe we've seen Jacob racing with us before, so good to have some newcomers out of the FEG PC Series. A lot of fun with these guys. A lot of cool prizes. A lot of good racing every Monday night. And as always, we'll be bringing the action live, 1080p, 60 frames a second here at the Team Goon Squad broadcasting channel. I have a lot of fun. The drivers have a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys around the world are having a lot of fun, as we get to watch our friends huck around some virtual race cars. And don't get them wrong, folks. If you're here for the first time watching your friends race a sim for the first time, it is not easy to go 100 to, I think they're hitting trap speeds of about close to 200 miles an hour here at Talladega. At least 180 miles an hour side by side. It takes every ounce of attention you can possibly give. And as we've seen, if you make any simple mistakes or bobbles, that is the end of the night and a wadded up race truck and worse, hurt feelings. Great seeing all the drivers hanging out with us after Heat 1, watching their friends do battle in Heat 2, both on the broadcast and in their sim rigs. Hopefully you guys are grabbing some water and getting ready for 75 laps of battle. It's going to be a final shootout here for Heat number 2. As this is our second caution of the race. Still 15 drivers on the lead lap after a whole lot of calamity and heartbreak early on. Here we go for the final time in heat race number 2. It's Lee and Reedy, your front row. McCauley, number 62 machine, is going to want to have something to say about it. As everybody quickly slotting up in line, it's Lee, McCauley, Reedy, and Winningsdorfer on the inside line. No, that's actually Mike Kinsel, number 22 machine, making a little bit of ground here. Now McCauley, number 62 machine, currently battling for the lead with, or pushing your race leader, Matt Lee. He's up 17 spots here tonight. But look at this, here comes Austin Reedy around the outside, getting pushed by Cale Seaman. As well as I think Mike Kinsel, one of those number 17s is showing as a 22 on live time and scoring. I have a suspicion it may be Kinsel in the Chevrolet. 2 to go. The white flag will fly here at Talladega for heat race number 2. It's going to be a three-way battle up front as they go three wide into turn one. Matt Lee leading the charge to the inside line. He's got McCauley right behind him in the number 62 machine, as well as Thomas Gear in the number 20. McCauley goes to the outside line trying to get a last-ditch move over Matt Lee. Lee shoving somebody off track. That was number 55 that worked his way back up, but look at that. We've almost had, oh, we do have carnage. We'll keep an eye on the race leader. I believe that was Jeffrey Radke possibly involved with that. McCauley. No, it's going to be Reedy. Who's it going to be? Who's going to get it at the line as they go side by side, bumper to bumper? Oh, that was a finish. That was Austin Reedy, Matt Lee, and Joe Winningsdorfer picking up the podium. That was close. There's a look at the massive crash, especially the number 17 machine involved in that one. Took out several drivers. And we've got another crash. I believe it was Seaman number 17 machine. But look at this finish once more, ladies and gentlemen. They're going four wide here at Talladega. Bumping and grinding, what a finish. And then they proceed to wad up all the machinery. All right, we've got a quick warm-up for our drivers, about a 10-minute warm-up. Not sure if we're going to skip past that or not. And then we're going to take the main event, ladies and gentlemen, 75 laps of non-stop action here at the FEG PC Truck Series. We're going to run a quick commercial break. We're going to do a picture-in-picture commercial break in case we do go live with the race, because we don't want to miss any of this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We got confirmation from Race Control that we will be running the full warm-up tonight. We've got a full grid, 42 drivers. The heat set the qualifying, and we're going to send them back out there. I've got to say, I'm partial to Evans' paint scheme today, running the Team Goon Squad livery in the number 15 machine. And as you saw in the commercial break, if you're looking for a custom-built desktop for the sim enthusiast, check them out, FEGPC.net. Doesn't matter if it's iRacing, Microsoft Flight Sim, DCS, or any other high-intensity software that you need to run. They can provide you the custom-built rig to run wide open, much like our truck drivers here every Monday night at the FEG PC Truck Series. So check them out if you're looking for a rig or maybe know somebody who does. FEGPC.net. Also on the iRacing flea market on Facebook, if you're more of a Facebooker, you can check them with those guys out as well. Find some new wheels, shifters, you name it, they've got it. Mike Kinzel got P5 in Heat 2. He's going to try and pick up a couple spots in the main, see if he can improve on that 5th place. If I understand heat racing correctly, which I probably don't, I believe that means Kinzel will be gridded around the 10th place mark. Again, this is about a start off as a 10-minute just kind of warm-up session for these drivers. Shake off the bugs. You've got about 9 drivers that opted to go out, while the rest of the absolutely massive field decides to hang out in pit lane. Maybe grabbing some water, or in my case, some cough drops. Still getting over a touch of the COVID here, but doing good. And speaking of COVID, we know one of our FEG PC family members, one of our usual racers, is currently battling it. Not going to say his name and put his business out there over the air, but we know he listens in every week when he's racing. So if you're out there, my friend, I hope you feel better. Hope you heal up soon and get back out here and get back in the action. We miss you, buddy, and hope you're doing well. We've got about 60% of our viewers betting on it's going to be over 6 cautions here in the main event. Again, we're going to be running 75 laps at Talladega to see where things are going to shake out. And there are 2, count them, ladies and gentlemen, not 1, 2 green-white checker attempts for the main event. And again, for those that maybe aren't familiar with iRacing that much, or maybe watching oval racing for the first time, that means that there's a caution 1 or 2 laps prior to the white flag. It'll put into overtime conditions for our drivers. And then if we have another caution on a green-white checker attempt before the white flag comes out, it'll put us into double overtime, which sounds much scarier than it is. And that'll be it for all the marbles. So hopefully, it's very rare these guys at the FEG PC Truck Series finish under caution, so hopefully tonight will be no different. We talked about trap speeds earlier on during the heat races. These guys are hitting speeds in excess of 194 miles an hour when they're in this tight pack like this. Kaufman's top speed is 193 miles. Brad Kirby, the number 10, his top speed 194 miles around Talladega. This warm-up, a great opportunity for these drivers to see what they can get away with as far as pushing people and maybe make some alliances before going into the main event. Only about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. I'm going to go grab a drink, grab some more cough drops, and maybe a shot of NyQuil before we get ready to really destroy my voice in the 75-lap main event. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get the party started here for the main event. "75 laps, only one winner will be able to make it to the top spot of the podium here at Talladega." Let's run through tonight's absolutely massive grid. Starting on pole, Michael J. Johnson in the number 39. Austin Reedy in the 11, starting second. Jacob Klinkhardt starting third in the number 42. Matt Lee in the 04, starting fourth. Christopher Carter starting fifth. Joe Winnisdorfer starting sixth. Jeremy Kors starting seventh. You've got Mike Pachinka starting eighth. Brandon Barber starting ninth. Mike Kensel starting 10th. Joe Burgess starting 11th. Cody McCauley starting 12th on tonight's grid. Tyler Millette starting 13th. Roger Hale 14th. You've got Pascal Simmert starting 15th. Brad Herman starting 16th. Ryan Travers starting 17th. John Mullahan starting 18th. John Olette starts 19th. Parks starting 20th. Michael Newbrough starting 21st. William Lothar starting 22nd. Josh Holmes starting 23rd. Thomas Gear starting 24th. Jared Forbes starting 25th. Tristan Bailey will be 26th on tonight's grid. Fan favorite Jay Dargert starting 27th. Jeffrey Radke starting 28th. Brad Kirby starting 29th. Cale Seaman will be starting 30th. Donald Ray starting 31st. Kenneth McCullough starting 32nd. Matthew Curry starting 33rd. Tyler the Weapon Evans starting 34th. Chad Ross starting 35th. Buddy Pitts will be starting 36th on tonight's grid. Derek Fulton starting 37th. Tyler Reed starting 38th. Brandon Ward will be starting 39th. James Coffin starting 40th. Adam Schoen starting 41st. Stephen Page starting 42nd. And Martin starting 43rd to round out our field here today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the FEG PC Truck Series. Looks like several of the drivers may have missed the grid or may be opting to start from the pit road for safety reasons. And let's see what our competitors can do. We still got the bet going in the chat. The friendly wager over under 6 cautions for the main event. In a race that's scheduled to run about an hour and 15 minutes if we did the math right. Curry, Fulton, Kaufman, Page all appear to be starting from pit road. As well as Dargert will be starting from pit road. A massive field, 43 drivers. Here we go. It's Johnson and Reedy on the front row. Reedy's also got Lee giving him a good hard push up towards the front early on. Now, if these guys were wise, they'd sit around and click off some laps. Are they going to play it safe? Are they going to push too early? Or are we going to see the big one happen early tonight at Talladega? A little bit of wiggling going on that inside line. as Reedy will get pushed out front with Lee. They're both going to drop down in front of Johnson's number 39 machine. And already they are wadding it up. As let's see who all is involved with that one. I believe it was Pachinka, maybe Roger Hale. And that will bring out the first caution of the night. That was number 23 machine. It gets into Pachinka's number 25 and goes for a wild ride. So the number 23 of Joe Winnesdorfer heavily involved in that. Let's take one more look and see what might have happened to Joe, the number 23 machine. He looked like he kind of got wobbly all by himself there. Not sure if that was a case of net code or if there was actual contact made. I think there might have been actual contact made with Johnson on the inside row, but not that hard of a bump, but just upsetted the number 23 Ford F-150 of Winnesdorfer just enough to send him bouncing to the outside line. And unfortunately, nowhere to go for several of the drivers. The number 66 also takes a tag. But man, look at the wild ride the number 55 machine took during that. But as far as crashes go at Talladega, that could have been much worse. I'm going to switch screens just for a second, toggle a setting. We'll be right back. Quick 5-second break. Maybe slightly longer than 5 seconds, but it's got to be pretty close. For some reason, the live timing scoring tower has problems showing the guys further back towards the rear. Now, interesting to see Reedy, Lee, and a lot of the normal fast guys come down pit road on that first stop, splashing off on fuel. Maybe they're betting on a long green flag run as the race progresses. But an early caution to break up the racing for our competitors. Again, 43 drivers making it out here today. I believe we may have fixed the live timing issue we had earlier. That is our first caution of the night. Will it be over under 6? That is the question we have for our viewers at home here today. We'll get them gridded up, double file. As we get ready to send them back out. Pace car will be in this time by. We're going to send our drivers out to do battle once more. Let's see, it's clean car to the front row with Kinzel outside of him in the number 22. So it's Kinzel showing as number 22 on lifetime and scoring, but shows 17 on the truck. Maybe we're on the wrong transponder here today. Here we go. It's clean card out front, Kinzel in second, Samard running third, Hale fourth, Reedy in fifth. And already we're going to get the outside group working. What's going on up front? It looks like Austin Reedy got a little bit unsettled there in the number 11 Chevrolet. He was getting a good hearty push from Brad Kirby in the number 10. But maybe didn't get that bump quite square. Got Reedy a little unsettled. They're going to go 3 wide towards the front. Maybe not on purpose. Tyler Reed's in the middle. Not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing these guys are taking 3 wide so early on, but at the very least it's entertaining for all of our viewers at home as we've got 3 healthy rows of drivers pushing as hard as they can. Out front it's still Reedy. He's got Matt Lee giving him a firm push behind, trying to get around Roger Hale on the inside line, number 16. But the caution will fly once more. Let's see who's involved. I know Josh Holmes shows as a crash. No, it could be just Holmes. Let's take a look. Holmes and the number 13 Chevrolet gets touched by the number 62. That may be Olette, not sure. As the field scatters coming out of turn 4, nobody wanting to get into the spun truck. Harry does a great job grabbing the brakes, as well as Holmes does a spectacular job locking up the brakes to avoid careening back out into traffic, and that will bring out the second caution of the day. Reedy's still going to be out front with Lee in tow. Again, that is our second caution of the night for those keeping track at home. These guys are in for quite the long night if this is how it's going to go for everybody. Reedy and Lee coming down pit road. Klinkhardt and Reed stay out. Kevin Webb also cheered on Tyler Millette, number 27 machine. Millette currently, I believe, will be about 19th out on track after this pit cycle. So again, what was it? Scheduled to be an hour and 15-minute long main event. It's probably going to stretch on just a little bit longer for these guys as it's quickly becoming an eye-pacing event with 43 drivers. No one really willing to yield and kind of take their time to get some fuel runs going. Current hard charger on track, Tyler Reed, number 58 machine. Excuse me. He is up 36 spots so far. We're going to get them gridded back up, double file, send them back out to do battle once more. 65 laps remaining in tonight's main event. Here we go. Pace car will be in this time by. It's Klinkhardt and Reed on the front row. Reed for the first time here tonight will be starting up front. Let's see, pace car is going to come in. It's going to be Klinkhardt and Reed on the front row. Here we go for the third time tonight on the restart. Will our drivers show any patience on this time, or are we going to see more three-wide action right off the rip? And the green flag flies at Talladega. Clinkhart and Reed get a almost identical launch. Clinkhart seems to have a little bit more speed as he's getting pushed by Matthew Lee in the 04 machine. That outside line has some pace as Reedy also moving up the outside line, as well as the 66. Two wide, three wide already at Talladega, coming into the tri-oval. Quite the gutsy move for these guys. Again, only one fast repair available. And here we go, another caution. This is going to be a rough night for the guys. This is how it's going to go for everybody. Ooh. Oh, that's a crash. We're watching Donald Ray in the number 14 machine. That was a big crash. Who was that up front? That was the number 62. Not sure if that's Mullet or one of the other drivers. We have a 62 out on track and the 062. I don't think it was Olette. Trying to find it here on live timing. And the 62 gets bumped, and around they go. But look at how hard that hit was for Ray in the number 14 machine, getting absolutely launched over and over and all the way around. And now it'll be Lee as your race leader as we bring out that third caution, only 13 laps in. I've got to say, this is probably one of the worst nights we've seen as far as cautions go for the FEG PC Truck Series. But they also allowed a lot more drivers, some of the not quite regular Monday night competitors, to join. Let's see if Lee comes down. They've pitted pretty much every cycle. And he's going to do so, keep splashing it up in the 04 machine. Few drivers opting to stay out. Weisdorfer, Pitts, Kenzel, Dargert, Ree, Hale, Martin, Burgess, and Olette all staying out here. It looks like pretty much everybody that comes down pit lane is only taking fuel. Looking like those that voted for over 6 cautions may be feeling pretty good right now. Gotta say, hoping we get some green flag runs going, as these guys have shown time and again that they can win or lose races on pit strategy. But with these little bit of racing punctuated by the cautions coming out, nobody's really able to show any long run speed here and show any sort of strategy. We're going to get him gridded up, double file. Kevin Webb saying, come on 27, yeet that truck. Millette currently running 19th. He's back about 6 spots from where he started. Not sure if he was tied up in any of that shenanigans we saw or not. Current hard charger, Martin in the number 67 machine. He's been running about 5th or 6th on track, up 37 positions so far. Buddy Pitts on the front row, he's up 34 spots. Here we go. It's Winnesdorfer and Pitts on the front row. The green flag flies. Winnesdorfer gets a great launch. Number 23, Miller Lights backed forward F-150, but here comes Pitts on the outside line. Number 26, he's got fan favorite Jay Dargert pushing him on the outside line. Pitts has Dargert while Winnesdorfer has Kinzel. And they're already going 3 wide. I don't think our racers have learned much here, as now Matthew Lee's going to make a run for the front. He's linked up with the number 97 of Jeremy Coors. They're 3 wide still, battling for 3rd. As it pans out well for Lee and Coors, they will take over the 1st and 2nd spot here. Now with all this 3 wide action, I am guessing we're not long for this race before the caution flies once more. As yes, there we go. Everyone getting absolutely sent to the shadow realm. We're watching John Mullahan, number 35 machine, as he blinks out. You ever crash so hard you break the software? That's where we're at right now, as you get to watch the pileup unfold behind you. Now we are watching Austin Reedy in the number 11 machine. Just nowhere to go. It's kind of been the story all night. Reedy gets absolutely destroyed there. So it looks like it's going to be Reedy, Samard, Geyer, Ouellette, Kaufman, and Newbra all getting tangled up in that one. And that will be our 4th caution of the night. Well, if you came here tonight for big crashes, my oh my, were they delivered. Ben Cook, is this Talladega or Demolition Derby? Why not both, my friend? As once again, most of the field will come down pit road. Winningsdorfer stays out, as well as Hale, Edward, and I believe Evans will stay out. Very interesting strategy. We're seeing guys come in pretty much every stop here, maybe knowing they have the speed to get back out front. But I'd imagine the more you take a pit stop, the more of a mess you can find yourself in, as those crashes seem to be about middle of the pack. And again, a lot of early 3-wide action here. Because that's usually the best part about running a private league such as these drivers run every night, the FEG PC Truck Series. They race with the same group of guys each and every week, so you kind of know who you can push, who you can trust, and maybe who you should give a little bit wider berth to. So I'm not sure if the Caution Fest is coming from newer drivers, over aggressive drivers, a mixed talent field. Not quite sure the rhyme or the reason. But definitely a rougher race than we've seen prior. Now, when we ran at Bristol for 100 laps, we had 5 cautions, and kind of expected. It's a very technical track, the half-mile Coliseum. We ran at Las Vegas, we only had 3 cautions. And when's the last time we ran a super speedway? That was September 13th. We ran Daytona International for the season opener. John Olette won that one. And it was only an 80-lap race when we had 5 cautions. We're already at 4 cautions so far, so things aren't going as well as they historically have. As a racer and broadcaster, I think what I would do is be hugging that inside line and just kind of trying to get through some laps here. And during super speedways, when you have about 10 laps, maybe 12 or 13 laps left to go, that's when you can kind of risk it a little bit more, willing to send it a little bit deeper and try and make some passes as you get ready to come up towards the end. But lap 10, usually not the time you want to do that. Chris Burton saying my vote's all off. It should be over under 10 cautions. Maybe with how tonight's going, but again, historically, these are extremely clean races for the most part. We don't see this bloodbath. Your front row is going to be Winningsdorfer and Hale. Your second row, Ward and Evans. And then Holmes and Reed making up your third row. But keep an eye on Lee in the 04 machine. He's starting 7th in the 04 Toyota Tundra. He's been able to make big strides, gutsy passes early on. What happened to Darger, number 57 machine? He shows currently not on. Not on track. Not sure if he retired or not, number 57 machine. Hopefully not. He's an absolute fan favorite. Pace car makes its way down to the inside of the track. Pardon me once more. And Winsdorfer will set the pace here on when he wants to go. Green flag flies. He gets it going. He's got Roger Hale in tow with him. No, that's going to be Brandon Ward in the 5 machine, I believe, picking up second spot early on. Hale moves to the outside line just ahead of Evans in the number 15 machine. They're already 3 wide down the backstretch. Evan gives a good hearty shove to Hale. Not as square as he wanted to be. Hale got very upset, and Evans tried to clear down low, unable to do so. Swerves and back in front of Lee in the 04 machine. As we almost had carnage early on, your race leader, Wittensdorfer, has connection issues. Ward takes over the race lead, slotting down to that inside groove. Now it is Matt Lee and Evans synced up on the middle groove, as well as I believe. Trying to get a quicker look to see who's the third in line on that middle groove. And now Evans is going to be your race leader, trying to stay linked up with Lee. So that's number 97 of Jeremy Coors, also in that middle groove. Lee and Evans working together. Lee looks to go to the high line. Evans drops down low, your new race leader, the number 15 machine, but he's side by side with Lee through turns 3 and 4. Now Lee's got the run on the outside. It's going to be Lee and Coors take over the middle groove ahead of Evans. Evans almost gets pinched by the 67 of Martin. Nowhere to go. Really amazed at the amount of aggression we're seeing early on. We're not even at a halfway mark here, ladies and gentlemen. We've already seen some wild moves. Now, we talked about it earlier. Both Lee and Coors came in on lap 18 to splash off fuel. They're trying to set themselves up for a green flag run if it ever comes. But with all the 3 wide action, I am not optimistic up here in the booth. We're 3 wide towards the middle of the back. We got Tyler Reed, number 58 machine. He's on the inside line. He's got John Ouellette, and I believe that's going to be Brad Kirby in the number. No, that's the number 17 machine. And here we go. We're binning it once more. Let's see where that caution may have come out at. Or more importantly, who was involved in it. Check out Mike Pachinko, number 55 machine, and see if he had good eyes on where the carnage ensued at Talladega. Just in front of him, he starts to check up. And he does a great job blowing it up, avoiding any carnage. We're trying to get eyes on the car number Well, that's a tough one to see, isn't it? There's John Mullahan. He's crashing. We can watch his point of view. The number 35 machine, see where it transpires. It was ahead of him, and then things just get bad to worse for a lot of the drivers. Mullahan gets punted from behind. Not sure if that was the number 22 of Mike Kinzel. No, it wasn't Kinzel. Or was it Pitts? Once more, the number 26 finds himself involved in an incident. I believe it could be Pitts. He's catching up to Lothar here. Nope, I'm wrong once more. The crash already happening. Josh Holmes, maybe? Not quite sure, but a lot of drivers getting collected. Evans opts to stay out. The rest of the field, like such as Lee, Kors, McCauley, all coming down pit road once more. So your top five is going to be Evans, Kirby, Ouellette, Barber, and Hale. Evans currently up 33 spots. He started on the front row for the very first time so far tonight. And that is our fifth caution of the night, so we're getting dangerously close to that over-under 6 mark we're all wagering on here in the YouTube chat. But the good news is we're about 1/3 of the way through tonight's event. We're going to get them formed up, double file. It's going to be Evans and Kirby, the front row. Barber and Hale, your second row. Klinkert and Lee, your third row. Now, another notable incident is, or a talking point, is there's only a 13 incident point limit here tonight before you're disqualified. Again, we've got a lot of new fans and faces out here in the grandstands. So you get incident points for things such as off track or colliding with another car, and it is a no-fault system. So if two drivers crash into each other, they both receive 4 incident points for the wreck. So as you can imagine, with a relatively low minute such as 13 incident points, I don't think it's going to be long or that many more crashes before you start seeing guys disqualified from the event with the built-in system. Evans and the Team Goon Squad back. Chevrolet will be out front with Kirby on his right side. Not quite to the halfway mark here today. Pace car comes in. And let's see what Evans, who's up 33 positions, can do with the number 15 machine. His last pit stop was on lap 13, while the majority of the field came in on lap 25 for their last pit stop. So Evans, one of those drivers banking on at least one more caution and valuing the track position more so. Gets a good launch, but keep an eye out on the number 16 machine, Roger Hale, working the outside groove, as well as I believe that's going to be Brad Kirby. Kirby shows with the number 10 on lifetime in scoring, but 66 on his truck. Another driver, maybe with the Walker transponder on board. And immediately 3 wide down the backstretch. That is Roger Hale, Matt Lee, and the number 97 of Jeremy Kors making the same move that's worked well for them in the past. Hale is going to slot down on the inside group just ahead of Evans and the number 15 machine. As Lee and Kors not quite able to squeeze down low in front of Roger Hale on the inside line. Going to have to get that line working a little bit harder, get a little bit more speed. Lee and Kors working very strong together. We're going to take a quick peek at the team channels to see if they may be on a team together here for the FEG PC Truck Series. And they will get slotted down into the first and second place spot. Now I don't see Lee or Kors on the FEG PC Discord, so I'm going to go on a limb here and say that they are working together in a team. I could be very, very wrong about that, but that is my assumption at this point. So now it is Lee, Kors, Hale, Evans, and Kirby, your top 5. Evans takes a peek at the middle groove, thinks better of it. As we're trying to go 3 wide for about that 10th place spot. Meanwhile, I think the front, maybe 10 drivers, gonna play it safe, stick in their respective lines for a little while, and maybe even try and complete a pit stop for fuel. As Lee is gonna have company for the lead. That's Brad Kirby, the number 10 machine, getting pushed by Jacob Klinkart in the number 42. We've seen some great outside passes all the way through the duration of tonight's event when it's not interrupted by cautions. Looks like Kirby's run stalled ever so slightly. Maybe able to pick up more speed going here into the tri-oval. The race lead, but the field is getting a little bit antsy as Brad Kirby up to number 10. He's up 27 spots trying to charge around the outside line. Again, he's accompanied by Jacob Klinkart, while you've got Lee and Kors on the inside groove. as we are almost to the halfway mark of tonight's event. The guys white-knuckling the dash. We're going to go a little bit further back in the field and take an onboard. With Tyler Evans, number 15 machine, currently running 8th on track, up 26 spots. But a great roof cam showing you how dicey it can be in these trucks. And how a single mistake can really cost you here. As the field doing a better job running side by side. Brad Kirby doing everything in his power, as well as Clean Car to get their way back out into the front, but Matt Lee and Coors is so strong in the inside groove. We got one driver trying to rejoin from pit lane, but he's going to have to sit there and wait for a little while as there's just too much traffic to interject yourself in. Drivers hitting speeds in excess of 195 miles an hour when they're packed up nice and tight like this. And it's really tough to call the top five. It's Kirby, Forrest, Cleancart, and Evans is what it currently shows, but they've been going back and forth, working these drafts as hard as they possibly can. And you've got to hand it to Kirby on the outside line. They haven't lost a whole lot of ground to Lee, and you got to hand to Lee. He's kept that inside groove chugging along, keeping the speed up, not allowing that outside line the momentum they need. Thomas Rice here cheering on Millette, number 27 machine. Millette currently running 16th on track. Still down about, now 15th, down about 2 spots from where he started. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of drivers leaving tonight without some beat-up race trucks. We get ready to approach the halfway mark. About halfway through. Still running side by side. Looks like the field may, I'm not going to say it. Every time I say it, I jinx it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Looks like the field may have calmed down ever so slightly. And whenever I say that, it's usually a good sign these guys are about to bin it. It's called the commentator's curse. As the number 42, Jacob Klinghardt, gets pushed wide. And yep, I predicted it. I can tell you the future, ladies and gentlemen. As another big crash. Bring out the caution at the halfway mark tonight. The number 58 machine just gets into the number, I believe that's the 8. No, the 13 of Josh Holmes. And that's collecting a few more drivers. I believe Buddy Pitts, number 26, was heavily involved. And that's it. I'm just not going to talk anymore for the rest of the broadcast. Everything I say is something positive. terrible things happen at the halfway mark. Bringing out our 6th caution of the night. So right now, all of our viewers at home, we've got 69% that voted on over. 31% voted on under. Right now, the unders have lost, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to the 69% of our viewers that voted for over, as we have reached the halfway mark of the night. So we're going to put up another poll for you guys. Over, under, we're at the halfway mark. We've had 6 cautions. Are we going to have more or less than 12 cautions total here today? I personally am going to vote under on this one, as we're going to start losing drivers pretty rapidly. The entire field's going to come down pit road. And what a mad dash this is, getting everybody out of pit lane. They're trying to crash, leaving the pits, almost do so. Thomas Wright saying we're going to have 15 cautions here today. I'm still going over the under. I'm going to say probably about 10 or 11 cautions total is my professional guess. So, as we've seen in the past, if you bet against me, you'll win every time. Country Chick saying she's predicting an epic last lap. I would tend to agree. What I'm worried about is how many drivers we're going to have left at the end of the race with all the massive pileups. Again, only one fast repair available to these drivers and a 13 incident point limit. One crash can give you a 4X. For some reason, Paige, the #1 machine, shows on top of the board, but we know that's not accurate. It's going to be Lee, Coors, McCauley, Kirby, Martin, I believe, running up front. Chris Burton here cheering on Tyler Millett in the #27 Ford F-150. Millett working his way back through the field. He's back up to 12th after facing a bit of carnage here today. As we get ready to send these drivers back out, it's going to be Coors and Lee, the front row. Seaman and McCauley, your second row. And then Martin and Kirby, your third row. Now, while we're talking about Tyler Millette, let's talk about his stats. He's had 3 starts so far this season, 1 top 10, with an average finish about 14th. And unfortunately, bad luck has really stricken the driver, the number 27. Highest finish so far this season was Las Vegas on October 4th last week. He picked up an 8th after 68 laps and left with only a 4X. So let's see if the number 27, Tyler Millette, can improve on his bad luck he's faced in the past. Pace car is going to come in. We're going to send them out past the halfway mark here today. The entire field almost came in on lap 38. Matthew Lee with a great start. He cuts right down to the inside line. I'm assuming that's allowed here for the FEG PC Truck Series. So it's going to be Lee and Coors linking up. Now, maybe the rules don't matter as much when you're doing it to a teammate, as I'm fairly confident that both Lee and Coors are either running as a team or have at least communicated into tonight's event like, hey, let's work together. Let's get these trucks up front and avoid the carnage behind us. That seems to pan well as they quickly extended their gap to about a half-second over Cale Seaman in third. Seaman's up to 27 spots here in the number 17 Toyota Tundra. With that outside line starting to form up. And there's another wager going on in the chat. Ben Cook saying Tyler Millette, if he wins, he doesn't have to do station duties for 2 shifts. So Millette's got a little bit even more to win here besides the prize money. Got a little work wager forming up amongst the fans. Lee and Coors still running nose to tail. But here comes the number 17 machine charging strong. He's got the support of Martin and the number 67 machine as well in that middle groove. But they are shaking and wiggling all around in that middle lane. One driver drops down the apron saying, I have no business partying with these guys. As Lee and Coors are going to stay linked up, doing everything they can to avoid any possible carnage. As the number 17 machine of Seaman gets a little unsettled, maybe got too hard of a shove from Martin. And they're going to go 3 wide, and they're going to start wadding it up once more. That is the big one. Look at the field scattering, careening across the track. Not many drivers made that one through, as it is an absolute parking lot here at Talladega. That's such a bad crash, I forgot where I was. Well, let's look at this from the FEG PC Skycam up front. Seaman gets spun. It gets rapidly out of control, and then everyone starts wadding up some machinery here. Must have been at least 10 trucks. ARCA brakes in full effect. Some drivers trying to pick up a few spots the easy way. Evans, the number 15, he gets collected. As let's take an onboard with Tyler Evans, the number 15 machine. to show you what carnage truly looks like. Evans was looking pretty good and then just gets tapped from behind. Maybe somebody didn't check up in time. Does he keep it off the wall? Oh, that is a long slide. Lightly touches the outside wall. So as far as crashes go, he did a good job locking up the brakes. Evans in number 15 did everything right, but just nothing you can do when it's an absolute yard sale in front of you. Lee and Coors got through that one unscathed, your race leaders. Now in the top 5, it's Lee, Coors, Barber, Klinkart, and Martin. We had somebody ask for the number 22's point of view during that crash. We'll get that going for you. Glad to. Well, that was Jeffrey Radke. That was the wrong driver. So we're watching Kinzel in the number 22. How on earth did Kinzel get through that? Well, we're going to watch that one once more because that is going to probably be the shot of the day right there, ladies and gentlemen. Kinzel, like Moses, navigating a field of wadded up race trucks. Good. Wow. That was a good replay right there, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more request for Tyler Millett's cam. I believe we have time. Trying to find Millett on the leaderboard here. There's the number 27. Oh, Millett not getting through unscathed at all. He's going to face heavy damage. But able to get back down to the pit box on his own accord. Not sure if Millett has any more fast repairs left. I don't think he does, as he's been in his box for 1 minute and 20 seconds now. Hopefully he can get that thing hammered back into shape, get the crew working on it, and he is still in the pit lane 1 minute and 30 seconds later. That is not a good sign for his fans at home. So we're going to re-rack him once more. I don't think I've seen a crash that big here at FEG PC. We still had a whole lot of trucks still running. But between the lack of fast repairs and the incident points, we should be whittling down this field here pretty shortly. The fans of Tyler Millett trying to say call for Broken Arrow, calling an E-cast to try and get the number 27 Ford back out there. We can hear the fans typing up the Medevac 9 line as we speak. We'll put the live timing and scoring tower on the left side of your screen to see where your favorite driver is. Still 20 drivers on the lead lap, 26 drivers, I believe, on the lead lap. And you're going to see a whole lot of outs on the left side of your screen. Drivers that have retired early, sent back to the hauler. We get them gridded up, double file. It's going to be about lap 48 when we send them back out. Pace car will be making its way in this time, or next time by, I should say. So it'll be lap 49 when we get them restarted and fired back up. A couple more drivers making their way down pit lanes. There are 19 drivers still out on track. So it'll once again be Lee and Coors in the front row. We've seen Coors allowing Lee to drop down low each and every time. The two drivers working together. Lee in the green and black 04, Coors in the silver and black, or white and black is probably the best way to describe that, number 97 Ford. Now Lee formed up a new team for segment 3, but we're not entirely sure who's on that team. It appears Millette has rejoined the track surface to get back, and he's still looking good. He may be able to get a lucky dog with how tonight's run has went for these drivers. Pace car is in. It's Lee and Coors in the front row. Johnson, Barber, your second row. Burgess and Schoen, your third row. And just like clockwork, Lee gets a great launch. Launches in front of Coors. Looks like our top 4 drivers, Lee, Coors, Johnson, Barber, all running single file. The number 65 of Adam Schoen trying to get the outside groove working with Tyler Reed. Schoen up 38 spots here. So now it is Schoen, Reed, and I believe that's going to be Kenzel in the number 17 machine. Getting the outside groove working here today. Schoen going to drop in front of Lee. Take over the race lead, leaving Reed behind on the outside line. 26 laps left to go, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, we are 3 wide, just ever so briefly. Not sure if that was lap traffic or not. as things are going to get dicey up front. Schoen is getting pushed by Lee. And Reed, number 58 machine, is getting a hearty shove as well, trying to get that outside groove working. Lee jumps to the middle groove. Haven't seen him too many times. Picks up Coors with him. The two teammates going to work together. Again, I'm calling them as teammates just from the fact how hard we've seen them work together here tonight. They're going to drop in front of Michael J. Johnson and the number 39. And it is Coors, the lone Ford, inside a top four full of Toyotas. Not to be confused with a Toyota Star Wars character. The top eight with a bit of a breakaway here. They're about 0.06 of a second, or excuse me, 0.6 of a second ahead of Mike Kinzel, running 9th out on track. With that second pack, with these guys going 2-3 wide up front, that's punching a big old hole in the air. It's going to allow the drivers behind them to catch up and maybe make some moves for the lead. As a few more drivers are joining this lead pack. Reed still dedicated to the outside line, getting pushed by Klinkart. Trying to work their way up to Lee. You've also got Schoen goes back to the middle groove. That is going to allow the number 19 of Joe Burgess to pick up a spot as well and get inside the mix. Now hopefully, these guys will behave and we actually see some good clean racing and good strategy amongst the drivers. As this has definitely been an eye-pacing event for the guys. Looks like we have 26 drivers still on the lead lap. And here comes Reed trying to get that middle groove working. Will he be able to get the momentum as he gets pushed by Klinkart to make his way around? Driver's getting a little bit unsettled with this bump drafting. If you don't get it perfectly square, the guy in front of you is not ready for it. It can quickly spin that lead truck. So this is a game of trust at 190 miles an hour. As I'm looking at the hood of Lee and Coors, they are running very similar paint schemes, so I'm feeling pretty confident in my assumption that they are teammates and working together. We've seen them working together all night on the restarts, pushing each other up towards the front. They're going to do whatever it takes to score some points and try to put at least one of their trucks on the podium. It's Lee on the inside line. On the outside, you've got Reed at number 58, the bright red 58. But Reed not quite able to get the drive to drop down in front of Lee here. And take over the race lead with 21 laps left to go in the main event of the FEG PC Truck Series. Lee still out front with Coors in tow, doing a great job holding that middle groove. You also got Michael J. Johnson, number 39, pushing hard to stay in there. Going to be interested to see if Reed can get that outside line a little bit more momentum to try and slot down in front of your race leaders. Lee gets a little bit unsettled. That may be the move that Reed needs to get down low. As yes, Reed will drop down in front of Matt Lee in the 04 machine. Lee gonna get right up on that bumper and say, all right, Reed, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna have to go fast. They do not want to lose any more positions here. As now Lee and Core is going to go to the outside line to try and get back around Reed. As well as Johnson, number 39 machine, going to try and quickly get around Reed. As someone tries to take it 3 wide there, that was number 42 machine of Cleancard. As Lee, Kors, and Johnson are working together, going to drop to the inside line. Cleancard is going to get left out there in no man's land. And just like that, Tyler Reed's going to go from first to fifth. With one move, 3 drivers working in unison. It's absolutely beautiful out here. Johnson has a big blink. Lee, Kors, and Johnson have been very strong out here today. Reed gonna tuck in line behind the top 3 as the number 19 machine of Burgess dips to the outside line. I believe that's gonna be ahead of Adam Schoen. A very late move that could end in disaster if you don't time it just perfectly. They're gonna go 3 wide once more coming out of turn 4. Good friend Casey Carrington joining in tonight, saying, you know, it's a long broadcast for broadcast when I start losing my voice. A little bit of paraphrasing there. But yes, the cough drop supply is low here in the broadcast booth, but the adrenaline is high. We've been live for about 2.5 hours for tonight's main event. And I've got to say, we've been using up the old voice boxes. There's been plenty of action throughout the duration of the event. As right as I say that, Reed once more going for a move on the outside line. He's accompanied by the 65 of Adam Schoen and the number 42 of, I believe that's going to be Cleancard, yes. Let's see if that outside line can make it happen once more. It's going to be tough to get around Lee, Kors, and Johnson, the 3 drivers on the inside line. They've been working together all night, and they've been doing a spectacular job pushing all of those trucks up towards the front. As we got a few drivers dipping down the apron, maybe coming down pit road. Yes, it's going to be Forbes, McCullough going down into pit road late with 16 laps left to go, having to complete a green flag stop. Can't say we've seen that all night. Holding the inside groove well, not allowing anybody to make their way by. We've got 15 laps left to go, and I've got to say, I'm feeling pretty good about my under 12 caution bet for the remainder half of the race. At the halfway mark, we already had about 6 cautions. as who's going to be the first driver getting a little bit antsy as we see a couple guys hint at going 3 wide. That, I believe, is Seaman, the number 17 machine, who's up on the high side there. Seaman is a lap down, so it's a tough track if you find yourself a lap down. You can't really make any moves here. And that has all but stopped the drive of the outside line. Roger Hale, number 16 machine, is going to try and get it formed up once more. But with that lap traffic, not a lot of way to go. And if you're going 3 wide and the outside groove is about 20 miles an hour slower than you, it can get very dicey very quickly. Schoen and Traver both coming down pit lane as well. And Hale getting some moves done, with Reed giving him a hearty push from behind, coming out in the back straightaway. Bump drafting all the way through the corners and possibly up to the front, as Hale has quite a drive against Lee, but Lee has Coors pushing him as well. Millette comes back down pit road, as well as Christopher Carter. Now, the last time pretty much everybody inside the top 10 pitted was around lap 45 to 46. And we are on lap 64, so will they have enough fuel to make it till the end here? It's going to be close. I mean, we haven't seen a green flag stop all night long. I would love to see one that's not interrupted by a caution. As your race leaders, Lee, Coors, Johnson, Radke, all come down pit road. A bit of a hiccup there in the booth. But yes, your race leaders all came down pit road. So now Klinkhart will be your race leader. Brandon Barber second, Hale third, Burgess fourth, Lothar fifth. Excuse me. They're going to try and get a lap up on the previous race leaders and the team drivers that have been running so strong here today. And now they're going to dive down pit road en masse. Let's see what happens, as Klinkhart is going to lead about 5 to 6 drivers into pit lane. No problems. Roger Hale takes over the race lead with William Lothar and Joe Burgess in tow. But just like that, things really shaking up. Our first green flag stop of the night with 10 laps left to go. And how long will your current race leaders be able to stay in for? The top 8 has not pitted since lap 44 to 47. Hale's going to bring it down pit road, as well as, I believe, Lothar. And I believe that's Burgess as well. And Hale locks it up on pit entry. A big, big moment for the number 16 machine. Kaufman stays out with Parks, Curry, and Ross, as well as Derek Fulton. So I'm thinking at this point, these guys are just praying for a caution to try and put them a lap above the race leaders, the guys that were previously leading tonight's race. As here's an update for you, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Lee in the 04 machine, I am fairly certain, served a pit road penalty. He was in his box for 48 seconds. A normal fuel stop is only about 7 or 8 seconds in these trucks. That is going to leave Kors and Johnson on their own. One less teammate to work with late in the run. How long is Kaufman, Parks, Curry, Ross, and Fulton going to stay out here for? There's only 8 laps left to go in the race. They would have to be fuel saving for quite a while. They came in on lap 47, was their last time by. Kaufman comes in late. It looked like, I'm not sure if that was Parks in the number 51 machine. It looked like he was going to stay out. So this is going to be the battle for the lead, currently led by Tristan Bailey in the number 24 machine. He will make his way around the drivers in the pit, the 5 drivers still in pit lane. Just in time, another crash, and Evans goes to orbit. Tyler Evans gets launched to the Shadow Realm. We've got to watch that, because that, my friends, is going to be the crash of today. We're watching Evans in the number 15 machine. The crash starts happening ahead of him. The number 24 gets pushed by the 11, gets a little bit unsettled. Does the number 24 come back up into the racing line? I'm not sure here. Looks like Michael J. Johnson and the blue and yellow number 39 got a little bit unsettled, but no, it is the number 85 gets into the back of everybody. It looks like. Not sure if that's McCullough, but watch the number 15, the Team Goon Squad truck on the top part of your screen. Evans gets tagged once, the other driver stops, and he does an entire kickflip variable, gets launched to orbit. He's no longer even in the sim, and he is out to Mars. Tyler the Weapon Evans has left the building and gets sent to absolute orbit with a spectacular kickflip. So that's going to take out Carter, Evans, Ouellette, Newbra, McCullough, McCauley, Travers, Seaman, Lothar, Bailey, Holmes. All involved in that one. So this will be possibly overtime conditions. As it is going to be Kors and Johnson on the front row, Reed and Forbes your second row, and Bailey and Barber your third row. Looks to be about 21 drivers still on the lead lap. So I don't think it's going to put us into overtime condition, but it's going to be mighty close. I think it's going to be about 3 laps left to go once we get to the line. We have lost a lot of drivers here today, almost 20 drivers getting knocked out of tonight's main event. We're going to get them formed up as we are on the 8th caution of the night. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to finish under 12 cautions here. It's been a rough night for a whole lot of drivers. So it'll be 3 to go as we cross the line. Again, we do have 2 green-white checker attempts here today, and still plenty and ample time for a bit more carnage. We have not sacrificed enough sheet metal to the racing gods. And it will be teammates Coors and Johnson on the front row, or at least they've been acting as teammates here today, working together, as well as Lee, who unfortunately had that penalty on pit road on lap 64 for his green flag pit stop. Let's see what's going to happen. Do we make it to the end, or do we have time for a couple more big ones here at Talladega? It's Coors and Johnson, your front row. Forbes and Reed, your second row. Barber and Bailey, your third row here today. Pace cars in, possibly for the final time this evening. If we can make it to the white flag, we're going to run it till the end. Coors and Johnson stacking the field up before the restart, making sure everybody's nice and tight. Coors with a healthy launch slots in immediately in front of Johnson. You've also got Tyler Reed, number 58, on the inside line. Reed up 35 spots from where he started earlier tonight. And again, if they can take the white flag, we will run it till the checker no matter what the crashes are doing. But if they wad it up now or the next lap, we're going to put it in a green-white checker conditions. Coors and Johnson running nose to tail. Reed and Forbes right behind. I am waiting with bated breath at the edge of my seat to see if these guys can make it to the end. Look at that outside line really forming up. That outside groove led by Chad Ross. The number 38 machine found some momentum, but we got drivers swerving all over the place. And here comes Tyler Reed on the outside line. We've got 3 grooves headed up. We've got Coors on the inside line. We've got Reed in the middle line. And you've got Chad Ross linked up with Matt Lee on the outside line, finding some time here. We're going to go 3 wide, 3 rows deep at Talladega. Who's going to get it here? Ross gets a bit unsettled with Lee behind. Lee's going to have to back off. The white flag will fly. As now we're 3 wide, 4 rows deep. It's still Coors on the inside, number 97 leading the race. Forbes in the middle groove. And then Ross on the outside line doing whatever it takes to gain a few more positions. They head down the backstretch for the final time. Forbes is currently out in the lead just ahead of Coors. Will he be able to clear that inside groove? The number 24 machine of Bailey has a big blink on the outside line, not able to get the momentum they need. Here we go, they're bending it once more. Chad Ross, Matt Lee, we've got trucks on top of trucks. And let's see what it is at the line. Right now it's Jeremy Coors out front. Who's it gonna be at Talladega? It's gonna be Jeremy Coors, Jared Forbes, and Johnson picking up the podium with even more carnage. Who could have asked for a bigger bloodbath today as everyone continues wadding up perfectly good race trucks. We're going to back the camera angle up and see what happened to Lee. He was heavily involved in that incident. Oh, this is going to be a great shot. I'll go ahead and tell you. So watch Chad Ross, number 38 machine. He gets pegged from the inside line. That takes out Matt Lee. I was told to say boogity, boogity, boogity at one point tonight, so I want to make sure that I get that in for sponsorship obligations. Chad Ross goes on top of Lee, and they just continue piling up. Ross is off the ground for a good 4 to 5 seconds. And Jeremy Coors is going to burn it down here at Talladega. A well-deserved win. What a finish here today. We're going to try and get our top 3 drivers coming in the victory lane. As Coors with a well-deserved victory, burn out the number 97 machine. Absolutely lighting up the rear tires of that Ford F-150. And look at that podium. It's Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota here today. But Coors, one of the drivers that was most importantly able to survive here tonight. Working with the right drivers, picking up the right spots. And then blowing up the race truck here on the surface. Still waiting for Johnson, Forbes, and Coors to make their way up into victory lane. See if we can maybe drag some of those drivers up here manually. Make them talk to us. Beatings will continue until podium speeches improve. All right, we're going to get things ready to go here. And once again, a big shout out to our friend Tyler Millette, all his friends joining us tonight. Had a lot of great guys and ladies cheering us on. As that is a paint scheme and a half. There we go. Up first, we've got Michael J. Johnson in the number 39 machine, picking up a third here today. I mean, you qualified on pole, you finished third, but I've got to ask, are you happy just surviving after what we saw out there?
Yeah, I'm really happy to survive and get a top 3 out of there after the race we had. It's a pretty eventful race.
Now, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are not on a team with Coors or Lee. Is that correct?
No, I'm a lone wolf out here. just on some of these speedway tracks. Work with these guys.
Yeah, it seemed like when you three guys really linked up, you're cutting through traffic, you're making an easy day out of it. Is that what kind of helped you keep that track position and maybe avoid the carnage we had out there?
Somewhat, which I was involved in quite a bit of it. I think my internet connection was acted up there a few times, but ended up working their way back through the front and got up there towards the end of the race and was able to go for the win. But I think I think I was on 8X or 12X, so I was having to try to be a little easy and then be a little aggressive at the same time too.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to find yourself in, especially late in the race. Now, coming in tonight, I know it was more of a, I don't want to say public race event. It's still a league event, but it was maybe it had some new faces involved. Do you think that's what kind of led to the more eye pacing we saw today, or what do you think caused that?
Yeah, I think that's what's most of it. A lot of new guys in here. Running these plate tracks when you're running with guys you're comfortable with, it's a lot easier to put in put in a lot of laps.
Well, Michael, great job as always. Always a fantastic time having you up here on the podium. Before I let you sign off and maybe go to bed, because I know it's been a long night for you, who would I to give a shout out or thanks to that's supporting you in the number 39 this season?
I got McConaughey set up shop on the truck, and then all the guys that keeping it real esports.
Well, awesome. Always a great job, Michael. Hope to see you continue the podium streak and hope to see you do well next week, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
That was Michael Johnson picking up third. Next, we've got Jared Forbes and the number 73 Chevrolet picking up a second. Now, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're a newer name and face to the series. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, this was actually my first race.
Well, my friend, what a first race to come out to. We had cautions, we had crashes, and we even had a little bit of racing thrown in there by accident. Now, what was the trick to having the number 73 up towards the front and kind of avoiding the carnage here today?
Well, I think it was taking the pit stop a little bit earlier than everybody else right before that last caution, and got myself and my teammate Kenneth up there in the top four or so. And yeah, after that, it was pretty easy to stay up there and just push.
Now, Jared, I know again it was your first time here with the FEG PC Truck Series. Obviously, we hope to see you come back some more and continue that podium streak. Were you expecting a cleaner race tonight, a rougher race, or what were you expecting?
I was actually expecting a little bit cleaner race. Past opens and stuff. It's usually been carnage, but I was hoping a little bit cleaner. But whatever. You stay in the back until it's time to go, and you just go.
We did a great job keeping it clean. We know the Budweiser truck got a little bit damaged there at the end, but other than that, it was looking nice and clean. Forbes, before I let you sign off and celebrate, who would I like to give a shout out to? Fans, friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours.
Just a shout out to my teammates, Ken McCullough, and thanks for inviting me. It's a great time. I hope to race some more.
Well, McCullough's a great guy, and all around likable dude. And I'm a fan of him just because he's from Georgia. But Forbes, congratulations again on second. Hope to see you back up here, and thank you again for joining us tonight.
All right, thank you.
And picking up the top spot, it's Jeremy Coors, the number 97 Ford F-150. Coors, we saw you guys. I mean, you, Lee, Johnson linking up, making big moves. And we saw you guys taking fuel every pit stop. Was that a strategy early on, kind of betting on a green flag run, or what was the strategy?
Yeah, definitely. It was our strategy. We were just getting as much fuel as we could, trying to cut down as many green flag stops as we could, because of the 65% fuel. So it's, we're just trying to play the strategy, the numbers game. We knew we were fast. We knew that me and Matt were teammates, so we're gonna link up when we can. And when you're both fast and you're working together, and we were pretty confident that we could continue to get to the front. So we didn't mind taking as many stops as we could there in the middle of the race. So yeah, definitely our strategy from the beginning.
Now, Jeremy, it was a great strategy. Obviously, paid out very well for you guys. Except I think League may have gotten a speeding penalty. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did get hit with a speeding penalty there. He was pretty disappointed, and I don't blame him. But it's unfortunate because he ran one hell of a race, and it was a lot of fun. We had just pushing up through the pack, and when we got there, the outside line would get a run, someone would tuck in front, and we just go right back around them. And when we got hooked up with Michael, it was even better because you get a line of three, and you're real tough to beat. So he was pretty disappointed in that, I think, but I mean, it happens. I feel for him. He ran a heck of a race. He definitely deserved to be right up there.
Well, of course, you guys put on a spectacular show through and through. I guess my final question for you, were you nervous at all about all the three-wide shenanigans everybody was pulling right after a restart, or were you just kind of holding down the loud pedal and seeing where things sorted itself out at?
Shoot, which restart are you talking about, James?
All the restarts, my friend. It was a night of restarts.
It was crazy. There was a ton of restarts. I don't think we were nervous. There was a couple of them where we had a couple close calls. I think someone at one point did touch my right quarter. They're going through the corner, and you just you got to hold on to it the best you can. And we weren't too worried because again we were linking up and we were communicating. We were doing an excellent job. Just I feel like that we were just really going to be really hard to beat if we could get there. And so yeah, I mean, of course, when they get that run on the outside, you never know. But yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. I can tell you that.
Of course, very glad to have you out here. Congratulations on a huge victory. Before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, who would like to give thanks to? Fans, friends, family, sponsors. It is your time to shine, my friend.
I appreciate it, James. I just want to give a shout out first and foremost to Martin Sports on the hood. Best sim racing gloves, best jerseys, best all around apparel in the business. A huge shout out to Martin Sports, McConey Setup Shop. I love all those guys, man. It's just I'm humbled to have sponsors, and to have them on board is just awesome to me. So a huge thank you to them, Lunatic, for helping me each and every week when we're trying to get these things fast, and my girlfriend for all her support. I wouldn't be able to be doing this if it wasn't for her, and my dad, who I'm sure will have some pointers for me after the race to give me. So.
Well, that's awesome, Jeremy. Congratulations on a well-deserved win, man. We'll let you go celebrate, and hopefully keep this streak going.
Definitely. Thank you, James. Appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, sir. And that, my friends, is going to put a cap on an absolute wild night at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway for the FEG PC Truck Series. If you're looking for a custom-built desktop solution with a sim maybe background in mind, or any other intense software you need to run, check out FEGPC.net. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in. A lot of fans joined tonight. Our friends over at Paintsville Fire, they were here in force cheering on Molette, and just great guys, great racers from all across the country. Thank you so much for being a part of my Monday evening, choosing to spend your time with me, supporting your favorite racers, your favorite league, your favorite broadcaster. We'll be back same time, same place next week as we keep this party rolling for segment 3 of the FEG PC Truck Series. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night!